You know, when I think about the days when I first started working out, I thought I was doing pretty well. Upper body workouts every day and no legs. Moreover, I thought bench press directly targeted the biceps. You know what? I can't do this. Yeah. I was a total noob. I mean, bench press for biceps, what? But now that I'm a little older and, dare I say, a bit more experienced, I've learned the error of a lot of my ways. Well, mainly through research and injury. So let's get into this. What's up guys, Nick here, and today I want to share a few exercises to help strengthen the rotator cuff muscles. Like myself, I recognize that many beginners go through the initial experience of wanting to train certain muscle groups without first establishing a proper foundation in their routine. And that lack of foundation tends to translate to injury or pain somewhere down the line. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. And for a lot of us, I find that shoulder discomfort tends to manifest the most as a result, which unfortunately sidelines you for a lot of exercises. So if you want to avoid shoulder pain, or better yet, strengthen the stabilizers in your shoulders so that you can push more weight, you'll want to target them directly. Now, if you just want to see these exercises, then head over to the timestamp in the description box. But I do think it's important that I take a brief moment to cover some anatomy to provide context as to why this topic is important. So the rotator cuff is not in itself a muscle, at least not an individual one. It's actually a group of 4 muscles, which are the infraspinatus, supraspinatus, subscapularis, and teres minor. Now, they all have their own function, whether that is abduction, internal rotation, or external rotation. But together they work to stabilize the shoulder joint. Now, as you can tell, the rotator cuff muscles allow the arm to move and rotate easily in just about any movement you perform, which is actually quite important because the shoulder is a very versatile joint, but inherently not the most stable. So it's actually not too difficult to imagine that this balance between stability and mobility can be compromised in daily routine or in the gym with resistance exercises. I mean, just by moving my shoulder like this, I'm basically in every plane, right? Sagittal, frontal, and transverse. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some exercises. The first exercise is the external rotation, which works both the infraspinatus and teres minor, since they both are located posteriorly and aid in lateral rotation and horizontal abduction. You've probably seen people in the gym grab a 5-pound dumbbell and externally rotate it, maybe in between their bench press or shoulder press set. However, the problem with this exercise is that it doesn't directly work your rotator cuff muscles since it's not acting against direct resistance. The difference between externally rotating your arms without weight as opposed to with weight is that the direction of force is downward, which means it's more of an isometric workout for your biceps rather than for your rotator cuff. A better way would be to oppose the directional pull of gravity by laying on the side and then externally rotating your arm. To do this, grab a folded towel or something that forces you to pin your arm down to your side. This provides a cue to keep your arm from moving excessively away while also keeping the target muscles engaged to a greater degree. From here, you'll want to externally rotate your arm without moving the shoulder out into abduction. Do this in a slow and controlled manner for 10 to 15 reps for 2 sets. By comparison to the rest of your muscles, the rotator cuffs are quite small, so don't feel bothered if you must start off with a lighter weight. Form, function, and progressive overload will take priority. Another variation is the cable external rotation. This will allow you to target the 2 muscles upright in case the sideline variation doesn't appeal to you. The easiest way to perform this exercise is with a cable. Grab the handle so that the starting position is around the midsection of your body and then rotate out. As with the previous exercise, try to keep your arms close to your side. A little bit of movement is fine. What you don't want to do is get to the point where your shoulder begins to abduct. Perform 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps in a slow, controlled manner. The next exercise is called the cable internal rotation. As with the previous exercise, you can use a cable machine. From there, grab the band and internally rotate your arm so that your hand ends up near the midsection of the body. It can be difficult at first to not treat this like a cable fly, but remember, you are not horizontally adducting your arms. You are keeping your arms close to your side and allowing it to move through rotation. The next exercise is called the wand flexion. Unlike the other exercises which focus on rotation, this exercise is intended to bring your arms up. This movement will primarily target the supraspinatus, which aids in abduction of the arm. To perform this exercise, grab a stick or a rod with both hands at the ends and then flex the shoulders. Do this in a controlled manner that either brings your arms to the height of your chest or right above your head. If you have a resistance band, you can introduce a little bit of tension by slightly adducting your arms and then bringing them up. This will introduce the need to establish greater stability as you raise your arms through the air. I would encourage that you bring the wand either to your chest or even above your head, as that mimics a lot of movements you may perform in the gym, such as shoulder press. This exercise is called the full can, and it is used to strengthen the supraspinatus. Just like with the wand exercise, this motion raises your arm up and away from the body. However, don't overestimate the amount of weight you can use with this exercise, at least not at first. The reason is because your arms need to be completely straight as you move through this range of motion. Because of that, the greater the amount of weight you hold, the more torque is added due to the increased length from your arms to your shoulder joint. To perform this movement, I would use a very light resistance, maybe something like 5-pound plates. Keep your arms straight and abduct them slightly so that they are in the scapular plane. The scapular plane is simply 30 to 45 degrees between the sagittal and frontal plane. An easy way to figure this out is to hold your weight from the side and then move them slightly greater than shoulder width apart. From there, bring your arms up while keeping your thumbs pointed toward the ceiling. As with all the previous exercises, I would recommend doing this for 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps. This last exercise aims to challenge the rotator cuff muscles all at once in order to act as the stabilizer muscles that they are. Remember that the rotator cuffs all have their own contribution to certain movements, but together they act to stabilize the humeral head and the joint socket. Grab a kettlebell or an otherwise similar object that has the majority of its weight on one end and hold it near the height of your head with your elbows flexed at or near a 90-degree angle for about 20 to 30 seconds. This will isometrically challenge the stability of your rotator cuff. To add a bit more difficulty, you can increase the weight, or what I like to do is walk while holding to introduce a greater component of stability. Alright, so as you can see, these are several possible exercises you can do to strengthen your rotator cuff muscles. And as you can see, these can all be done with relative ease and probably even without going to the gym. Another thing to remember is that the rotator cuff muscles are relatively small compared to other muscle groups, so train them in a rep range between 8 to 15 and focus on nailing both the form and the tempo. Ideally, you want to perform each rep with a 2 to 3 second hold in a slow and controlled manner. I would recommend that you try these before your workouts, but you can do them afterwards, or you can even do them, as I said, at home. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, please consider giving this a like and share it, perhaps with someone who may benefit from today's topic. And if you're interested in more content, consider subscribing. But if that's too much of a commitment, then maybe just take a look at some of my other videos. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.